Welcome to Parsnips and Parsimony. Tonight we're going to do a question and answer on homeschooling. The first question is, what made you decide to homeschool?
I was homeschooled as a child myself. My brother and I were homeschooled K through 12, and so it was a very natural fit for us to homeschool. Art had a different educational perspective from him being in, you were what, private?
I went to a Christian school for a few years and mostly public school.
And I think he had a different perspective of the public school system than I did, and it was something that both the two of us decided that we really thought homeschooling was a good fit for us. As we've always told people, our close friends, family, neighbors, we take each year as it comes. So we don't say we're one of the diehards that we're going to homeschool the rest of our life. But we take it on an individual child-by-child basis because sometimes it's the appropriate course for a child to be in the public or the private homeschool, or in the public or the private schooling environment. But sometimes homeschooling is a better option.
We don't judge anyone on their schooling decisions. It's a personal decision, and we just think everyone needs to do what's right for them. And we have thought that this is right for us right now, so that's what we're doing. The next question, what is your homeschool routine?
It changes a lot. Just because we've had kids, Lydia's 7, so I've been pregnant or nursing for 7.5 years. Homeschooling has changed in a lot of ways, and it just depends on the age of the children. So this year I am anticipating a smooth start to our school year, primarily because Lillian is a lover of her playpen. And she loves it in the morning. She actually asks to go in her playpen and to play for about an hour. That's what she likes to do. And the little girls like to sit at the table and do crafts or Play-Doh or school. So I am anticipating a routine of school about an hour and a half in the morning, hour and a half in the morning, with the smaller children being Mary, Grace, and Lydia. Peter will have a private tutor for some of his subjects this year. So he will be out of the house during that time. And then John will be working on his own, now that he's in high school, there's a lot of things he's going to be doing on his own. So, and Charity will be working on her anatomy and physiology and all of her nursing classes. So I suspect our routine is going to be, in the morning we're going to have our bookwork time, and that's going to work pretty well for us. In the past, we've had school sometimes when little kids are napping because they haven't figured out the concept of sitting quietly at the table while I'm teaching the other kids. So that's what I'm anticipating. It changes year to year. Once this baby comes, it probably is going to change again. We're probably going to be doing a little bit of homeschooling while I'm nursing on the couch, and we're going to be doing bits and pieces just to get us through to finish up the school year. I'm hoping to hit it hard from September through January, and when we do that, we can usually get through a lot of our required coursework, so then we can just kind of take it easy for a couple months to get into a routine with the baby, and then next fall, well, all new routine. But that's what I'm anticipating, at least for this upcoming 2018-19 school year.
The next question, how do you find time to homeschool and do things you love? I think one of the answers to that is that we love learning. All of our kids love learning, so we just kind of learn as we go. We do our sit-down homeschooling, like where you read the textbooks and all that, but we also never stop learning. We try to teach the kids, if we're doing something in mathematics comes up, we'll try to teach them some mathematics. If government comes up, we'll teach them government. We just never stop learning in our family.
I think one of our goals as parents has been to cultivate in our children a love for learning, because if a child loves to learn, they will learn their entire life. So there are always going to be ways that Art and I are not going to be able to teach our children everything. But if we can give them the tools to succeed, to love learning, then they can continue on way past whatever we could ever teach them.
Have any of your kids ever wanted to go to the local public school? And if they did, would you support them? Our kids a lot of times see school buses drive by and the kids on the bus, and they always feel bad for those kids. So I don't think they would want to go, but if they did, I would probably support it if they had a good reason for it.
Again, I think it's a case-by-case basis. We're not in that position. I would like to think that I would support them, but again, who knows what the situation would actually be.
And the next question, do you plan to help your kids pay for college? And then they also asked about weddings. And the answer is kind of. We will make sure that our children go to college if that is what they want and we think it's best for them. And we will make sure that money is not a problem. And also we are helping our kids try to earn the money now. And there are fun ways they're trying to earn money. John is doing marble videos, like marble races and things like that, videos, and hoping to make enough money off of that to pay for college. And if he can, that's great. If not, well, then he'll probably find something else to do in the meantime. Charity is doing crocheting and a few other things, and we're thinking about a job for her too, to pay for her nursing school. So right now the two oldest children are working toward paying for college. The other children, we are working with them to kind of, but not as much, of course, because they're younger.
I know this is going to be a little bit of a topic of discussion because there's a lot of opinions out there, and whether you should pay for your child's education, whether you shouldn't be. When I grew up, my parents made it very clear to me that we were going to earn our education on our own. Part of the reason was that my parents knew that when you have a little skin in the game, you really take your education seriously. And even though I never ended up needing to attend a 4-year college, I was completely ready to. In fact, I had books and books out from the library about scholarships, and my plan was to apply to scholarships like crazy, writing essays. There are so many out there, so many options out there for getting your way through college between hard work and scholarships. That was my goal. And that's pretty much what I'm encouraging we're encouraging our children, hopefully to do this debt-free. That we really enjoy the Dave Ramsey system of finances, and we really, considering that we are debt-free, we want to encourage our children to be debt-free. Mm-hmm. So we don't want them to take on debt, but we're not going to just say, oh, you want to go to college to just have fun. They're there to learn. And if there's a very good reason for them to be in college, like charity and nursing school, absolutely, we are going to be 100% supportive in whatever way that we can be. But it's not fun time, it's not playtime, it's not socializing. Again, I know this is going to be a little controversial on our channel. This is just what works for us. This is what we believe. We're not here to start any big wars, but that's where we stand.
And about the weddings, yes, we do plan on paying for the weddings.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite book? What's yours?
I don't have one particular book. I enjoy reading real life, encouraging, inspiring, motivational type materials. The book that I really recently read, I actually bought the book. It was Scott Hamilton's latest book out, and it was a story of his life, and it was very motivational, and I want my children to actually read it to see how hard work and perseverance pays off. And I thought it was an excellent read, and I did buy it for our family. So I would say that's my one book currently, but it changes all the time. What about you?
My favorite book is the Bible, and I would say my second favorite book is Raising Godly Tomatoes by Elizabeth Kruger, and it's about raising children, and it's really good. And I don't necessarily agree with everything in the book, but it is very helpful And if any of you are having problems with raising your children, I would suggest that book wholeheartedly. A related question, what are Charity's favorite books? Charity loves historical fiction, and who are they? I don't read much of that.
She goes to the library section, and at our library we have little tags that indicates which books are historical fiction, and it's usually in the young adult reading section. Honestly, I don't always keep track of what her latest historical. I don't keep track of her latest historical fiction book. She just usually shows me in passing, and I'm like, oh, that's good. Sometimes she'll say, oh, Mom, you need to read this. She just read one the other day about.
It was about a doctor.
It was about a doctor, and she gave that one to me, and she goes, oh, you got to read this before we return it. I couldn't put it down. So, you know, her reading likes are a lot like mine. When I was her age, I loved historical fiction. So that, I think that covers her. She's in bed right now. So we didn't have a chance to ask her that question personally, but that's what we see her getting from the library a lot. So.
Right. She likes books that are set in the 1800s. The last question for today, what do you think of Mr. Rogers?
So, when I was a kid, I didn't watch Mr. Rogers all that much, although he was kind of that time frame. But now, as an adult, I think it's the most adorable show. I like the slow pace. It feels like real life. Unlike when you're watching YouTube or Netflix or Hulu or just regular TV. I mean, if you ever sit down and watch TV with a very tuned in mind, you would notice that most video clips that you're being seen on the screen are 1 to 2 seconds long, and you're getting bombarded constantly by bright, colorful images. It's very stimulating to the brain. If you watch Mr. Rogers, it's just like real life. He's very slow, and it's almost like a simpler time, and I love that. I think it's really good for our kids because when you go from high pace, I think it drives that hyperactivity, the high energy. My kids have lots of energy, lots of hyperness, and so I am happy to have something that just is calming and settling for them. So that's my take on Mr. Rogers. So what do you think of Mr. Rogers?
Well, I'm a little more energetic and wild, and I never watched Mr. Rogers when I was a kid, or a whole Mr. Rogers. I might watch a few seconds here and there, but then I'd go run off and do something else. I was never really into TV at all, and I do not watch a lot of stuff. It bores me to death, most things. One time my mom offered us kids $1,000 if we could go 2 years without watching TV. And I'm saying, sign me up. So I went 2 years without watching any TV, and then after that I didn't watch TV very much. I watched very little TV, so I never really watched them, but I like the concept of Mr. Rogers.
All right, well, I think that answers most of your questions about homeschooling. I'm hoping to be doing a homeschool curriculum review video on what we're anticipating on using in the 2018-19 school year and how the kids have progressed throughout the school year. So keep an eye out for that. It might take a few weeks to get that filmed just because life is crazy around here. But thanks so much for responding to our questions on Facebook and Instagram tonight. We appreciate all of your responses. Make sure if you're new to our channel to subscribe and check out our, well, not so daily vlogs anymore. We're a family of 9, soon to be 10, and we'd love to have you come along and join us for the journey. So have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you for our next video.
Good night.
Good night.